So this ceramic container was probably, I don't know, probably about 100 years old. It was in um, the basement of the house I was in. Um, so was this. I guess the story was maybe my grandfather or great grandfather must have gone someplace and hit a sale. I know that's nasty. It's empty now because it's all evaporated, but wow. That's cool. I have a few of these. Anyone want them? um, Also, there was a lot of these, and actually there was a few downstairs in the basement or cellar or whatever you want to call it that still had contents in it, because I think there were pears, and we still had pear trees, and I was not very happy to lose the property because the people that moved in probably cut all the trees down. I know there were still pear trees; they still yielded fruit. Was not happy about that. I used to have ducks and chickens and things like that, so I'm just keeping them. Now those things are roughly about 100 years or so, more or less. Now, when you get into things like, okay, the slag glass, I'm talking about age of things. Now, the iron foundries were probably put in the late 1700s. So, slag glass can't be any older than, what is it, maybe 300 years, 200 years. You know, they were running for quite a while. But you can see, like, there's effigies in this. And this isn't pareidolia. This is what's going on. I mean, I started to look at it and I'm going, holy cow! And I got this sense from being there that was Mohawk territory. Then I guess the colonists just kind of like plopped their iron foundry right there. You can see this is a wolf head nose. There's a mouth there. This one seems a little bit polished. I think I found like the head of something there. We'll find something else. There's an animal with an open mouth. If you turn it that way, you got maybe a bear head with an open mouth. Ear there. And today I just got another bad comment. Well, I don't get too many on this channel, so I mean it's been good. It's been positive. But somebody was embarrassed. You know what? I don't care. If you don't like it, then just go somewhere else. Just go through, But I'm just pointing out, okay, this stuff is probably within 300 years. All right, so here's something else. Railroad spike, probably from 1800s. That was found south where an old railroad is being dismantled. It's kind of cool. I found some cool things around there. Okay, moving on. So we consider that. What are the ages of? Okay, so my red stones, and this one I painted. When I moved onto the property, I mean, I was given a story about the Native Americans that lived there. They said that it was native hunting ground. So I was thinking, 1800s, 1700s, or whatever, there were people hunting things there. And so I was thinking that, it's little Tonks's tribe or something, or whatever. Somebody did not see this one. And if you're not seeing it, okay, these are called polymorphs, because you could flip them different ways and there's something else. So like say there's an eye there and a nose there, and this becomes a mouth, and that becomes an ear, so like a fox head. But then when I turned it this way, there's a nose there, and a mouth there, and an eye there. That could be like an ear there. It could be something else, like, but this is an open mouth. This, I believe, is a chipped bone, whereas some of the others are like sewn leather. So you really, I mean, it takes a trained eye, and I understand that. There's a mouth there, a nose there. And you have to understand that this is not Monet, this is not Leonardo da Vinci, this is not Michelangelo. You don't have like somebody commissioning a famous artist to do. This is something that people were doing as a part of a culture. So you start, so yes, there were some kind of tools, like possibly this might have been a tool. I don't really have much of that, but there's some things you might consider to be like hand axes and stuff. What I was better at finding were these art stones. And I was able to find, like, after I washed them down, was stitch marks in them. And then, like, symbols on them, like the mammoths and mastodons. So putting that into perspective, that's not my best piece. And do I have my best pieces here? This has some kind of animal on it. It's not a really good piece, but you can see where it's got the mouth, eye, ear here. If you flip it a different way, it's something else. So because it has animals like these extinct mammoths and ground sloths and things like that, that makes them like within the 12,000 years. But when I first moved in, I didn't know what I was looking at. I couldn't tell. So I'm thinking to myself, how old is this? And that's when I started to really kind of connect. And I see people online doing, talk with their tarot cards and the pendulums, and I think that's pretty cool. I have some of those things, and they're pretty cool, but I have trouble asking questions. This is some ciderite. That is that's actually iron ore, and it's really pretty. But if you look at it carefully, so this is what it starts out with. Starts before you get to this. But if you look at it carefully, it has some chip marks on it, and I have some more outside. I just collected a few pieces. I was just like kind of amazed by how beautiful this natural iron ore is. I found a lot of really beautiful things out there by the foundry out there. It's near, I think it's Roxbury. I think that's also where I found the garnets. And it just makes me think about a lot of the chemical composition that would cause this to happen, because this like mica schist reminds me a lot of wood. And I'm just gonna say, like, if you read about it, they say that to get like the quartz, those quartz veins, it takes a lot of pressure from organic matter, and it to me this seems like you're like in between that stage. And then what would cause this? The the garnets. And I'm just wondering if it has something to do with the oil from the pine trees, maybe. But it's like we're almost not, it's not quite to the point where you get this. Okay, maybe I'm projecting in the wrong way, but this is what happens when you get a lot of pressure from the earth on organic matter, and then you get the yeah, I was trying to talk to somebody who was an archaeologist, and it doesn't seem like the archaeologist and the geologist are on the same page. And even when, looking for the answer on the internet, and that's what I got, then I'm trying to bring this up, trying to say, well, this is how it happens, and then they're like, oh no, that's not how it happens, and I'm like, okay, I give up. These things just appear magically. I lose. That's it. I can't talk sense into anybody. Okay, so this is the one, like if I turned it to the side, you've got this effigy of, see, it's like this, you see this, but when I turned it to an angle, you get this really nice effigy with the mouth and the nose over here. And then if you turn it this over here, and look at the size of this garnet. Those are called almandine garnets over there. Okay. I have a few more that have like smaller garnets on them. So if you hold it this way, it's like there's an effigy to the left. This nice, pretty purplish color. Okay, so I mean, we could imagine, okay, that maybe the work on the piece might be, over 10,000 years or so, my guess. I'm just assuming. How old this is, I don't know. That could be millions. I don't know. When I picked this up, I was about ready to throw it out the door, and then I started to look very closely, and then I noticed these are like little needle holes. And then you see in my other videos, there's thread going between the two needle holes there, going there. Those are needle holes. So this rock was not always a rock, and this isn't the first one I found like this. In fact, I have found another one that had a mammoth stitched into it. This is not the first. Look, it even has one in the background there. Yeah, this is a really nifty rendering there. I'm gonna see if I can zoom into one of these stitches. It might have looked a little bit different, because like, imagine if this is like a snake head or something, it might have bloated and then kind of, got a different, changed its shape slightly. You can see I did take a pencil and slightly played connect the dots, but you can see like right above my thumbnail, there's a thread. There's a thread. How old is it? I don't know. Okay, this one has like a little embroidery going on there. You can see that thread there. Okay, but there it is. Yeah, so the mammoths and mastodons became extinct about 10,000 years ago. Okay, so then I came across this one, and I was saying, the one that looks like a heart stone is actually a chipped bear head in a crystal. There's its open mouth, there's its eye, there's its nose. Okay, so people would see these like as heart stones, like, nice crystal, but it's actually a bear head. And it even has like indications of like, tongue and teeth and stuff in there. Very subtle, it's not the best. I do have a collection of animals with open mouths, so this just kind of belongs to that. But then I have pointed out this before, but you can see there's a snake inside that crystal, and here's part of its coil, and there's part of its coil up there. You see the coils. So apparently this is a snake egg. Like all the light areas, that's where the snake is closest to the edge. You can see snake has spots. I'm just gonna kind of trace it right there. That must be the tail, about that area. So just imagine there's a snake inside like a cellophane bag. So that happened first. So it was petrified first, and then somehow somebody came along and decided to make this nifty little petrified snake egg into an effigy of a bear head. I believe it has other things on the other side, but I'm not going to be pointing those out because this is the most obvious. So to me, that's an artifact within an artifact. Okay, so you've got this, we'll say wherever people came around, they turned this into a bear head. How old the crystal is, I don't know. That could be millions of years old versus the bear head, which could be thousands of years old. The same thing with, okay, we're going to go over here with this guy. This is a bear head effigy. And then if you turn it like that way, you see to the left side there's a human effigy. He's got a bit of a headdress on the right side, but like above my thumb is his chin. But the cool thing about it is you can see the fossil like kind of digits in there. What the heck did that? I don't know. What kind of animal that was, I don't know, but you can see it's like little finger, like 1, 2, 3, whatever. That's pretty cool. So that's I love that. That's like, 2-for-1 sale there. Okay, so again, millions of years old. So it could be some kind of dinosaur. I don't know what that was. with something that was done thousands of years. So two artifacts in one. Okay, well, these were things like, you know, got that at a gift shop. That's in the millions of years. It's pretty. Nice thing to look at. And that's in the millions of years. So we're talking about things, you know, how old is old? You know, it's cool to have one of these, but that's cool too. And what do we appreciate? I'm usually fascinated with the things that humans do. And